Okay, so normal thing I say at the start of a stream. If you can let me know how the audio is. I'm going to warn you now, I've got a fan on, got the doors open, so it might be a little bit noisier than normal. So I know the microphone is moving a little when I'm not speaking because of the fan, but hopefully it's not too bad. But yes, hello everyone. A few names I recognise from the various Discord servers. Well, it's a hot one. So we'll go as long as we can, and I should probably look at the camera. Go as long as we can. I haven't put in the title of the stream what we're going to be doing, just because if we can get more than one thing done, then great. If we can't, then we won't, obviously. So without further ado, let's just get started. So the first thing that I think we're going to do is we're going to sort the frame parts, because the manual is for a 250mm build, and it tells you obviously what extra length to add if you're doing a different size. But if I just, so I've got another screen up which I'm going to have some documents on, and I'm not sort of going to show you the various things on screen just because it will be difficult to share screens and stuff. Yes, so I was just about to say that. So this is the manual, and you can see the manual just says put things in this order, and it sort of talks about it says to put them in sort of a size order and group them together. Now the problem is it will ask you to use certain extrusions by letter to do certain things, but it doesn't tell you the length of it. And so if you've got an extrusion that's, so you got extrusions that are the same size, it's a bit difficult. So on the Voron Discord server, in the Trident questions channel, in the pin post, there is, I can just move the mouse, a couple of documents. So there's one that literally shows you a picture with the extrusions labelled by letters, and then this one tells you that a certain size build will have a certain length extrusion. So this is obviously really handy to match up the things. Yeah, so it's really handy, and the Discord server is a great place to ask questions and get information. And the stuff I know is from me asking questions or other people and me like noticing what the answer is. So it's really handy. So the first thing we're going to do is put these in order, and what I'll do is I'll put them over here for when I need them. So we know that these are all one extrusion. So this extrusion has got holes in the top, sort of a quarter of the way down, and then one in the bottom, and these will be our uprights. So we know they're all the same, we know their length, and we'll put them together. So we'll just put them over there, and we'll sort of reference a couple of guides here. So we've put the first lot in order, and then we want the A extrusions and the C extrusion. So there's two here with holes in the middle, which are the same length, but they're called different things. So we'll sort that one first. So the C extrusion is 420 mil. Let's just try and bring that up. And then this would be the G. No. It's already a bit hard to understand because they should be the same length according to the picture. Anyway, let's try and get this in order. So we want A extrusions, and A extrusions are 420 and threaded both ends. So let's pick this one up. So this is threaded both ends and 420. So that's one. and this says that we should have 9 of these. So, yep. And this is also good for just making sure that the kit has come with everything you expect it to have, and that the extrusions are tapped where you think they are. So it's worth doing this for whatever build size you're doing, just so you can double check. Now also remember that even if it says that an extrusion should be threaded one end or only one end, you may find that the extrusions are tapped both ends, just because when you're mass producing a frame, it's a lot easier just to tap everything. So I wouldn't worry about that. From what I've seen so far for the frame, that you have to put aside all those who haven't got threads if you look carefully. Yeah, so I'm just going to put everything in order basically, and then we'll see what happens. So this should be the last one. Yeah, so that's our 9A extrusions. So we'll put all these over here in order. And then obviously we'll grab what we need when we get to the actual build. So next thing is B, and there should be 4 of them, and they should be 500 mil. So that will be the ones that I've just put to the side already, and they're unthreaded. And then the next thing we want is a C 420, and that is, oops, wrong one, threaded both ends. So where does C come? So C is the back. So it's unthreaded, but it will have, oh sorry, threaded both ends, but it will have a hole in the middle for our back extrusion. That one's 420. So is this any different? This is also 420, and this is not threaded. So that's an F. So we can see on the chart that that tells us which is which. So that's the next one. So we'll put all those together. So that's C. So D is 290 unthreaded. So it's not that one. And again, if you find one that's threaded, don't worry about it, because it will just mean that they've threaded everything. So that's the next one. So that was our D. And then E is a 380 unthreaded, which is that one. No extra holes. Where are we up to? So F is a 420 unthreaded, which will be this one. And then we've got a 282 threaded one end. Let's just go by the size. Yep, 282, but this one is threaded both ends because it's just easier, which means this last one should be 330 and threaded one end, but is in fact threaded both ends. So that's all of our extrusions in order. They're threaded where they need to and not threaded where they don't need to be, etc. So that's a really handy document if you're on the Voron Discord. Trident questions in the pin post. So we can basically go to the manual now. I'd be doing this if only they didn't process credit through a third-party PayPal and instead did it directly all my cards decline saying it's suspect. Unfortunately, so some people may be under the misconception that I work for Fysetc or anything like that. That isn't unfortunately something I can help with. The only thing I would say is to contact them directly. If you're either in the Voron Discord or their own Discord, which is all linked below, send them a direct message and just see if there's anything that can be done. I know when I've ordered through AliExpress, I don't always use PayPal or a credit card, so I use basically a number of different things. So yeah, it might be just something that you need to speak to them directly about, unfortunately. It would be good, obviously, if you could sort something out and build one with us. So let's open, okay, this is the manual. So what we need is extrusion C. So this is basically going to tell us that we're going to use extrusion C and the A's and the H. No problem, Stephen. So we want extrusion C, and extrusion C is the one with the hole in, which is threaded both ends. So we'll grab that one. And obviously we'll be doing a little bit of prep here, so we'll get all the A's as well. So there's a little thing I'm going to do that I've seen Steve Builds recommend, which I'm going to have to go and dig out the fasteners in a second. So we also need H. So which was H? H was the last one. Although I'm not sure if that will be of use, but we'll see. So I'm not sure so I've got boxes out here as well. So if I come in and out of shot, that's why. So I'm just going to see if I can grab the fasteners and see if my microphone will go far enough. There we go. And I've also got the 2.4 printing the last few bits for this build. So what I have seen Steve Builds recommend is to use some M5 washers. Now I'm not sure if these are going to work, if these might be too big. If they're too big, then I won't do it, but I'll just demonstrate quickly with one. So I don't know if anyone else does this, and I haven't seen it in the Trident manual, but I'm fairly sure it said in the 2.4, but to Loctite the bolts on the frame. So yeah, I'm not sure if anyone else has seen that. So basically what Steve Builds does is that he puts a washer, so this should work. So what I've done is I've put a washer here onto the bolt, and then so you're then going to thread that into our hole. So I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on mine. Not too much, and this is the blue Loctite, so this is not like the super strong stuff. So we're going to thread this into here, and it's at this point that I can get the right size Allen key. So what you do is you put that washer behind the screw, and then when you well, I haven't got a bit out yet, but when you then use that for the blind joint, it's supposed to help or prevent the extrusion from twisting when you tighten it up. So I thought I'd try it and we'll see how it works. I'll put the rest of this stuff away, and then I've got one of the Steve Builds hex trays that we'll put some stuff in. So I might have to pinch washers from somewhere else later if I'm doing this, but we'll give it a go. So the M516 is going into the end of these. And then it wants us to put them in the end of all the other extrusions as well. So this might take us a while just to do this. Hello, Binny. So I haven't got any background music on today, mainly because YouTube likes to keep saying that I've got a copyright strike, even though it's royalty-free music. But also because I don't have it like too loud here, so I can't really hear it. I don't hear when it stops and pauses, so I just decided not to bother with any music today. So I don't know if you remember when I was unboxing this, I had mentioned that they anodize after they do the threads and the cutting, and I was curious whether that was going to have an impact on the screws going in. They're absolutely fine, so they're not too closed up or anything. They work just fine. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else Loctites their frame when they do them. I'm pretty sure I did it on the 2.4. And I'm pretty sure I did it on at least 2 of my V0s. Oh, I forgot to put a washer on. And it doesn't usually mess with the threads. No. I suppose it's I suppose powder coating would, wouldn't it, more than anodizing. Like you say, it's very thin, like micrometer thickness, I guess. I don't know if Richard is still in the chat. I don't know if he's doing his 2.4 build at the moment while he's watching me. I am indeed. There he is. I've actually got the LCD cover printing at the moment, Richard, on the other printer. Yeah, doing the config now. Yes, powder coating would be a nightmare, yeah. I suppose the only advantage powder coating would have is the durability, I guess. Because I have noticed on a couple of these extrusions that there's some little scratches and dings, which is showing then the base material underneath. I'm actually hoping that I've got enough filament on the spool to finish the parts that are printing at the moment. It's I think it's the last of the parts that need to be in the not in the accent colour, in the main colour, because I plan to do the panel clips in the accent colour anyway, just because I want to have more of the purple in the actual final build. Always these little bits that take the longest time, but once we've done this, we should, I mean, I've watched Steve builds do his tridents, I've watched Nero build a trident, and it does seem to go fairly quick once the frame is built, because I guess unlike the 2.4, there's like none of that extra, the Z drives to build and everything, which are quite time consuming on their own. I'm not actually sure what all these M5 washers were for, so hopefully I'm not going to find out that I need them later. Hopefully they weren't the spaces for the bearing stacks and everything. Probably should have checked that, but never mind. I've probably got some somewhere anyway. Definitely a bit hot here today. They are for the bearing stacks. Yeah, I thought they probably would be. I'm pretty sure I've got some somewhere else. If not, we won't be doing a lot today, apart from building the frame. I was actually saying to Richard earlier that because I'm going to be doing this on stream, it's going to take sort of quite a long time to do. So want me to put, just wants me to put one in this end. But the advantage of doing it on stream is that I'll also have time in between if I need to buy fasteners or whatever. So that's one advantage, I guess. Right, so that's all those parts prepped. So let's see what the next step is. So, page down. So we want, so I'm going to have to move a few things out of the way. So I didn't mention it, but I've also printed these little printed parts that are on printables to help line up the extrusions when you build it. Yeah, just give it a go, see if it works. Let's put that in there. So that's the back we need. We need 1A. We'll move these over here. And then we also need a B, which is one of the tall ones. So I'll grab that. So basically what it wants us to do is to have the back. So I might have to put things at an out. What I'm going to do actually is put these over the other side. Now that they're prepped, I can just grab them when I need them. We'll take that one as well. Oh, Tom, Filament Frenzy is here. Hello, Tom. Oof. Right. So we've got our back extrusion, and we've got to make sure that the hole, because it's not on all four sides, is facing up, because we need to screw something to it later. We want a B extrusion, and we want the hole that's in between the ends to be at the top. And then obviously we're going to have an A which is going to go here. So with this printed part, what we can do is we want to put the things together loosely first, like this, I think, and then we can put the, whoops, I might have to tighten those up a little bit first, I think. And for anyone thinking that I'm not building this on like a piece of granite or anything like that, you are right, I'm not. I'm just building it on, right, so I need to put that. So with the bolt and the washer situation, we want the washer to be inside the extrusion. So that one I did just put in the wrong place. So just move that down like that. There we go. So we'll just tighten these up a little bit. Yeah, so I'm not doing this on like a granite surface or anything. I didn't do that for my 2.4. I didn't do that for the V0s. So I think it will be okay. So what we then want to do is try and get this whole so what we might have to do is actually put them in. So I've never used this before, so this is why I don't know what I'm doing, but we're basically going to try and create a situation where we've got all the things in the right place, and then the printed part is going to help hold things together, hopefully. And again, just make sure I've got things where they need to be. And the hole, so this is an important thing as well, this middle hole doesn't actually go on all four sides again, so we need to make sure that that is parallel with the A extrusion. I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but let's try and undo these a bit. This is a bit tricky. There we go. So that's got that in. Is everything in the right place, hopefully? Yep. So then hopefully we can just make sure that we have so this needs to push down here, just so we're against all of the edges of the printed part. And then it's just a matter of tightening things up, basically, hopefully. No idea if this is going to work. Or how well it will then come out of this printed part. So that's that tightened up. How well, say that didn't really work as well as I would hope. So I might go without those printed parts. Hello, maple leaf makers. So we might try and just do this sort of manually. Not sure how well that will go. That feels better than it did with the jig, so I think I'll just do it yeah, without the jig, but we'll see. So that's that corner. And I think it's going to ask us to do, oh yeah, we've got to put the H in before we forget. So the H is our rear upright, and that goes in where that hole was. So that goes down here. So it might be easier without that one in at the end. Yeah, so while the washers may help, they sort of do then impede slightly with getting other things in. So I'll just quickly take that one off. And then that will slide in a lot better. I'll put that back in before I forget. So on the instruction manual, it tells us that the gap for the upright to the end is 175 mil, but because we've got a 300, we add 25 mil, so that'll take us to 200 overall. So what we'll do is we'll lay this down and then find where the hole is. We'll just tighten this up a touch, and then we can use our Voron ruler to make some measurements, take some measurements. So it's going to be roughly there. And we'll just double check that, obviously. Yeah, and that should be roughly where it needs to be. Just tighten that down a touch more. And then basically we go round and do the same again. So we could either do like the opposite corner and then join them together, or we can go round. So I'll probably just go round. So we want another upright, and again making sure that we get our holes in the right place. Actually, you know what I'll do? I will do like a corner at a time. Hopefully that will stay up. Better to go around, much easier to handle piece every time. Okay. So you reckon, okay, so we'll do this one first, this upright. Making sure we get the hole in the right place. Make sure we get the washer on the right side. like a saw. Yep. And then presumably just do this one like that. So what you can also do is use an extrusion to sort of put it down the side so you can have something to push against. So that'll make the outside straight. We'll just check that back one while I'm here. Yeah, that seems okay. So we then do another upright, and again keeping the washer on the inside of the extrusion, and also the hole in the right place. Like that. You then put this one in here. We'll grab another one of each, just so I can use them to hold things in place. And if you spot any mistakes, then please let me know. So then we have to try and get this this one to line up with like 2 bolts at the bottom. Pay attention to the upper holes where they are facing direction. I did one wrong. I had to remove it. Yeah, so they should be facing basically along what will be the y-axis, I assume. Well, that's where I've got them anyway. Just as I double check them, you're saying that. There we go. There we go. So that's the frame together. Feels pretty straight so far. So what's the next step? Next step is we need the E extrusion. So let's just find out which one the E extrusion is. E is 380 unthreaded. Okay. Grab my tape measure. So it should be this one. .380 unthreaded. And what we're going to use this for is a spacer. So it's recommended using this as an as a spacer, but single layer of tape on the ends to prevent scratching. So if I just grab some masking tape from down here. It's quite a big masking tape. So I'm not sure how neat we have to be with this piece of tape, but we'll just do that. See how we get on. Right, so let's position this the way it wants us to position it. So if we look at the manual, it wants us to put the back at this far end, and then we will use this basically as a spacer to go. So this is going to be too big. So because the Voron Tridents are all 250mm Z height, because we're now a 300mm, we actually need to use the size that a 250 would use. So I'm not sure if we will have one 330. Yes, we will. So we can actually use, is it this one or is it the one that I had earlier? I think that will be that one, won't it? Yeah. So I don't think we've got another one that's going to be the correct length to act as a spacer. If anyone can confirm that. No, I don't think we have. So we won't be able to use that, so we'll just have to do it by hand. So I could have printed a spacer, but I haven't, so we won't be able to do that. Let's get over here. Oops. So basically what we've got to now do is put A extrusions in on the sides. So this is basically going to help tie the frame together as well. We'll try and go down parallel if we can, so we don't scratch the thing. Good afternoon. Hello, Graham. So how far have we got to go down? A little bit more. We'll just put that in there to start with. And what we'll have to do is basically measure that gap to be 330. This one does need to come down a touch, but we'll do this side first, I guess. Ooh, too far. What we might be able to do, I can just get this one to come up. Is, oops, just so it doesn't fall down too far, is just to grab a clamp here. We'll just put that there so that won't go down too far. So we could even probably use the clamp as our measurement. Potentially. Not going to be ideal, but let's get another clamp for the other side. Ooh. So this is probably an area there where a little bit of extra preparation would have been handy on my part to have printed that spacer rather than sort of assume that I had an extrusion. That's a great tip there from Mark. So what we can actually do is if we unscrew this back one, and what we'll want to do is make sure that we leave our screw and bolt in place, our bolt. So this should be 330, which it is. So we can use this extrusion. So let me put a couple of bits of tape on this. I'm glad someone knows what they're doing, Mark. So that might be something that the Voron team could actually add to the manual, that if you're building a size other than a 250, that you can use this extrusion. So you put this in after maybe what Mark has suggested here, that the bolt is still in the extrusion that we'll need later, but we can now use this for our spacer. like so. So yeah, that's a great tip there from Mark, well done. I built 8 tridents in different sizes, so you are the man to know. Had the same on my first build, yeah. That's that side done. We'll get that in place ready. They don't like going in parallel, do they? Right, let's screw these ends in a bit more. There we go. There we go. So that should be those in and straight and parallel. So Go to the next one. Rinse and repeat, which we've done. So it's then basically to finish off the top with the A extrusions. So would you say that it's now a good time to put this one back, Mark, or do we need this later? I assume we can put it back now. And obviously we'll have to make sure our distance is the same again. Yes, put it back. Yep. Right, and before we plug that down, we'll get our ruler. Make sure we've got our gap that we need. About there. There we go. Just double check. Yep. And then we can put our A extrusions on. Wonder if we can use this jig to do this in any way. Oops. Yeah, not sure how well the jig really works. You've still got to do sort of a bit of a we can try it. Yep. So I think once I've done this frame, I'm just gonna grab a drink once I've done it, and then I will have a look for the extra washers that I'm now going to need, because I've obviously tried to use so I might have to just tighten that in a bit. So I'm not sure if using the washers was a potentially bad idea, because these seemed quite tight with the head of the bolt going in the hole. I might just try and do this manually actually. We'll try. But it sounds like the frame's a little bit out of square at the moment, but we'll see once we've got things together where that is coming from. Howdy, printer porn. Normally you only need the washers on the LDO frame. They have different profiles than the bottom. Well, if between now and the next stream I've took this apart and took the washers out, you'll know why. It was just something that I'd seen someone comment on that Steve Builds had done and shown, so I thought I'd have a go at doing that as well, but maybe that wasn't necessary. Bit of blue Loctite. He has, okay. Oh well. Right, so that's the frame together. There's a little bit of a rock, so I just want to see if the rock is also on the bottom or on the top. Yeah, so I wonder if one of these extrusions is, yeah, this one doesn't seem to be flat. So we'll just undo these a little. Make sure that we can move both of these, and then we'll get the jig in. So that seems flatter. I'll just check each one of these. Yeah, this one looks like it needs to have an adjustment as well. So it's good to take the extra time to do this now, and just try and, oops, I've done the wrong one. To get this as good as possible. Let's go around again, just double check. This one maybe needs a little adjustment. Then probably this one too. So what's everyone been up to this weekend? Feel like I'm not talking much while I'm trying to do this. Sort of trying to concentrate and talk to you lot at the same time. Receiving abuse. Yeah. This seems to be getting worse. What's going on there? That one seems okay. Is your work table good? You have input to measure 3 different points. So I know it should be close enough. Like, I've done other printer builds on here. It just feels like there's quite a big rock. I've not had it that bad on the other, when I built the other ones. I'm just looking to see if the tops of all the extrusions are level. Obviously that assumes that our extrusions were all the same length. This one here seems a bit, okay, so this one is a little bit off here. That one looks slightly twisted actually, that one. What's going on with this one here? That seems quite a big variance. I can put it in somewhere other than we could do the old measure in the corner trick, I suppose. That one's really flat, that one's good. This one maybe needs a little bit of an adjustment. Could be that the table's not brilliantly flat. I have got a spirit level under here, but I know that the table is not, it's not level as such. We'll just go with it. Yeah. Strange. Right, I'm just gonna quickly grab a drink. I'll just put you on the BRB screen and I will literally be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Had a drink in the freezer for a little while. Right. So, what am I going to do with this frame? So I might, my least, yeah, had I've got it mostly sorted now. Yeah, my Cyborg 2.4 was a lot easier than this. I did actually build it that end, so I wonder if this end is not quite right. Well, I might try and measure the corners, but again, that's not like the most accurate way. I don't think anyway. I mean, that is exactly the same. So, do you have any other surface tests on? No, not really. I have got a piece of, where is that? I might have something outside I could use. Bear with me a second, I'll go and have a little look. BRB. Okay, back again. Nah, I don't think I've got another surface to do it on. So I'm probably just going to carry on, I think, at this point. And there's some other bits and pieces we can do, because it may be that I've lost my mouse. May be that I need to redo the frame anyway if I need those. On my YouTube page, just happened to be squaring it up by Nero 3D, and he measured all the diagonals to make sure they are all the same. Let's do that. So, how you determine this? So this is, let's try and work it out. This is 650 mil from corner to corner here. Whoops. And this is, hang on, I have to just move it. This actually is 651. So I've done that corner. So let's measure the bottom as well, I suppose. So we should see that let's see what this one is. That's assuming that I'm holding it in the right place. So that's also That's like 651.5, and that is also like 651.5. I did actually take the frame outside a second ago, but the table out there is not probably particularly clean or easy to do it on either. I think the manual does say, like, or I'm sure I saw somewhere that says it's, yeah, that's like 651.5 to 651, and this is like 651 and 651.5 as well. 650.5. So we'll just carry on for now, I think, and then see where that gets us. Yeah, so it does talk about things being, so that should be 330, so I can measure that. That all looks right. I haven't really got a 90 degree thingy. So the next page, next parts are basically doing motor mounts and stuff. So we could at least put some heat set inserts in. So I'll just move this over to the other side. And it feels the same over on that table, so I'm guessing that the frame does need to have a little look out, I think. So we'll get the soldering iron out. We can at least put some inserts in. So what plug can I unplug? Unplug this one. And I'll probably go through the frame off stream just because it's easier to do. I can take my time to do it, and I may actually take those washers out, we'll see. So yeah, so we'll put some inserts in. So we need some parts, which I have got printed over here. Several boxes of parts, so we've got some skirts, and then obviously we just want the A and B motor thingies first, so that would be these. So this is the VLMP. So that's the vertical linear motion press by Vector 3D. So I did do a video or a live stream where I assembled this when I was doing my 2.4. So this is one of the earlier versions, not the early version, but now you can actually get from Adam it with a different soldering iron. I probably need to adjust mine, I haven't used it for a little while. But it's basically just a way of keeping things straight. Actually, I did use that, that's why I used that for something else. So, but yeah, he's done a slight couple of different revisions. Yeah, but it's handy. Right, let me get the correct parts. So that will be this part. No, it won't. It'll be this part. So we have one go in there. The only problem with this soldering iron is that even though it's got like a gauge, a temperature adjustment there, it's really hot. So you want to sort of be ready with everything before you turn it on even. And even then you don't want to sort of use it for too long. So we'll see what other areas need an insert. So we need also some accent colour pieces. And for those who haven't seen the colour scheme, it's a glitter grey. Try and get you a better picture on the camera. If I use the right style. So perhaps not in the best light there to see it, but it's like a glittery grey, and then this is like a glittery purple. You can see that just, can't you? Yeah. I really like the colours actually. I would have liked, I think I said this in the earlier streams, that I would have liked perhaps the purple to be a little darker on the frame. So I'm just going to take these. So I actually reprinted this because I had like the slightest of layer shift and I wasn't happy with it, so I reprinted them. So I'll take those two out just so they're out of the way. So they need an insert as well. And then we're building stuff. Looking through the manual to see if there's any other inserts in these parts, which there isn't. There's not many in there. So we'll do these two, or these three, sorry. Let's turn this on. Sorry if you can hear that. So we'll just let that heat up a second. And these are obviously the inserts and everything from the Fysetc kit. And these are, this design relies heavily on inserts, blah blah blah. Yeah. We'll just get those ready. Yeah, the frame colour is actually quite nice. I think it might be a little bit lighter on camera. It's a little bit nicer in person, I think. Yeah, so we'll just let this heat up a second. Mind you, in this heat, that probably won't take a lot. To heat up, that is. Needs a little bit longer. But talk about 5mm shim. Yeah, I reckon I used, probably shouldn't have used those washers. That'll probably come back to bite me. Unless there are any shims in here. I think I have got some in the sideboard box that came with it. Yeah. I think these are all the same, the ones I've got in here. I might just grab a couple out in case they're different. I actually dropped this box and the lid doesn't sit on there properly, so I have to make sure I close it, otherwise I run the risk of having a screw sort and stream. Right, this should be warm enough now. Yep. Try not to grab the soldering iron rather than the handle. We'll turn that off because this thing will just heat and heat and heat. So I've got these, I think these are pretty much the same thing than these ones. Yeah, they look exactly the same, so I will use these for here. And then we can at least build some of these while we're not sure quite about the frame yet. So I've done that. Go to the next page. So it wants a couple of M5 nuts. So these go in the bottom here. And they'll probably fall out, so I'll have to put them in as what I need them. What else do we need? So we need an M5 by 40, which is these black bolts here. And we need shims and bearings. So where are the bearings? In another box. So just bear with me a second. Just going to take the microphone off before I pull it out the door. So the bearing should be in this box, hopefully. So here's a question for Mark, if he's hopefully still here, who's built 8 Tridents. So the Fysetc kit comes with some anti-backlash nuts for the Z-axis, but there's also the brass nuts on the stepper motors at the moment. Which ones would you recommend using? So these are the F695 bearings. Okay, so what we want, let me put these in our tray. So we also need some other parts as well that I haven't got out yet. So that is, oh, is that one of those? Not sure. Looks like some of these parts. The plastic nut with the frame looks good. The plastic nut without the anti-backlash. So you recommend just using this part? or the so without the anti-backlash part, or using the brass nut that is on the stepper. So I'm not sure if this is what material this is. So use the plastic ones, but without the anti-backlash part. Any particular reason for that? Right, so what do I need here? So, got a part that looks like this. So we want this bolt to go through here. And then we want a shim. And then a bearing stack. Yes, and the documentation, it's only this. Yeah, so the documentation obviously doesn't talk about anti-backlash nuts, that's right. But should I use, now which way did I put that one around? Should I use the brass ones or the plastic ones? I guess is the answer, the question I should have asked, rather than sort of try and complicate it. So this then goes on here like this, I think. Yep. And then, so we then want this. So this will be this one. I knew that was going to do that. So why exactly? How are you supposed to do this then? That isn't the way you're supposed to do it, but it worked. That moves in there. Not sure how tight we are meant to do this. Not too tight because we want it to move. Use the plastic. Okay then. Okie dokie. M40 by M3. They're in this hole. Then we also want a M3 washer, which are in this hole. What I might do is actually have a look and see if I've got, I'm not sure if they are POM nuts or if they're just some random plastic. So this thing goes through here, goes through the hole at the front, and then goes basically into that insert that we put in a second ago. And we can get it basically to that stage. I do like the I wonder if I should move the camera a little bit. Just bear with me a second. Just going to try and move the camera. So that you're a bit more into the light, so I can show you things. There we go. I do like the black hardware with these colours. Looks quite nice. They are POM. Okay then. So that's basically one. That's the A idler. Oops. So I'll just rinse and repeat on the next one basically. We want the small, no, that isn't it. That's not what we want. This bit. So we will now want the smaller side. We want our washer. Colours do look good. I think they do. Then our bearing stack. Well, this whole thing is the bearing stack, but our bearings. And then, yeah, that. Or did I do that the other way around? Yeah, that'll do. Washer. And then we want this bit. Like that. And then, so it wants us to put this on. Okay, I fucked that up. So there is a proper way of doing it, but I don't really understand how they're asking you to do it. So let's put these on again. There it is. I'm going to try and do it how I did it before, basically. And I messed it up again. Put the washer on. Right, let's try and do it properly this time. I'm not sure how you're supposed to take a screw out and put another one in. I don't think it really matters how you go about it, as long as you don't do that. I think the heat's getting to me a bit, but we'll get there. The other ones seem to go a lot easier than this one for some reason. There we go. Done at that time. We don't want to do it too tight that that whole thing doesn't move, basically, because that's what we'll be using to tension the belts later. So that's those two done. And they go like that. Right, what's the next step? So check your work, basically. So yeah, that one's right, and then that one is also right. So now we're going to do the A drive. So we want the bit that we put the insert in earlier. We want an M5x40 in that hole. Now these are socket head cap. But the picture shows button head. So is there some button head somewhere? That is the question. Oh, I'm using the wrong ones, that's why. They're 40s. We want the 30s. There we go. Like that. Then we've got a big old bearing stacks to do. So we'll do the smaller one first. So we want shim, and bearing, another bearing, and a shim. And then the bigger one is shim, bearing, bearing, 2 washers, let me put that, and we'll go, yeah, we'll go that. Then 2 more bearings, and then finally another shim. Which goes away. Then we want the corresponding part, which is this one. And these have got some threads that are basically modelled into the printed part. So we don't want to do these over tight. Obviously everything's got to close up. Upside down, do recommend assembly, do not over tighten, yeah. And as long as stuff moves, and I think we have to make sure that we don't protrude out of the top of the printed part. That's that one done. Yeah, I assume that's that one done. So we want to finish off the A drive. So we need a motor and a pulley. So let me just grab a motor. Just checking on my printed parts on there, and they look okay on the 2.4. So we want a pulley, which is in this bag. We'll want, now they've got grub screws in, good. We'll want the little tool thingy. So this little tool, which is one of the printed parts, is like a way to measure the height of the pulleys. So it's quite handy. So grab the right ones out. We might as well take them both out at this point. There we go. And I think I'll get the wearers out. Just try and move a couple of things out of the way here. Okay, so for the time being we can just do the motor, and then we'll worry about where the cable has to come out. So we're going to put some Loctite on these as well. Again, like not too much, just enough basically. There we go. Right, so A motor first. So the A motor goes with the, what I call the fat bit down. And we'll just line up one of the grub screws with the thing. And then what you basically do is you use, let me zoom in for this for you. So what you do is you basically get your motor, and then you get your spacer, and then it basically rests on there like that. So you're using the spacer to basically go in where the belt would go, and then you tighten that up, and that should be where it needs to be in the drive assembly. But we can sort of adjust it a little bit later should we need to. That's roughly where it needs to go. You can sort of double check it and just make sure it's where it needs to be. And like I say, if you need to adjust it later, you can. But you need to make sure you obviously do the grub screws up. So it's best to sort of do it now if you can. And obviously that Loctite just helps with keeping the grub screws in place. And I'm just going to grab a piece of kitchen roll from behind the camera, just to wipe off the excess Loctite. There we go. We don't want to get that near printed parts because it doesn't like it. Right, so now we need to basically put this in the frame we've just made. So we want to have the output of the motor has basically got to go towards the frame. That would go in there like that, basically. And we can sort of line up and see whether that's going to be in the right place for the bearing, which it should be. So we've done that, and then we want M3 by 30s. So let's have a look on our box. So M3 30s, socket head cap are these ones. I'll just double check. Yep. So this is showing we want, yep, just 3 of them. So that will go in there. And then another driver. Just got to get it started in the hole. There we go. Get this one started. This is why the screws that we did earlier don't want to protrude out of the printed part. Now, what's going on here? Okay, it just might have been where I had it. Is that resting on there properly? I think so. There we go. So just got that started basically. Let's see. So that possibly could go up a little bit, although this has got to come down still. Let's screw this all in tight. Not too tight though. If you hear the plastic crack, you've gone too far. So that should be where it needs to be, and we're just comparing this basically to the picture, and that looks about where it should be. The bearings still move around fine. They could probably be tightened up just a little bit more. Yeah, that should be good. That's our A motor done, or A drive. That's the first one done. You've got to finish this by the time the stream ends. Which part? The whole thing? the next one. So 30s, which are these ones. The whole thing, yeah, not gonna happen. Especially as I'm probably gonna disassemble the frame and have another look at that and see. Probably take those washers out potentially. So again, we do our bearing stacks and we just get some trims out. How are you getting on with the 2.4, Richard? Is it printing yet? Do the little one first. Got super hot for no reason and then died. Oh dear. Bearings. And then 2 trims. And 2 bearings. That bit of kitchen roll I had there. Hey, Chris Riley's here from his basement. Hi James. Never caught your streams before. Good luck on your build. Mine has taken forever. Yeah, myself and Richard, who's also in the chat, knows that feeling. It's obviously because you're doing it on stream and then other things happen, and yeah, can be a nightmare doing it this way. And I nearly forgot to put the shim on the top. So we then finish that off with another shim. Well, it's nice to see you here, Chris. So then we try and handle all this and screw it in at the same time into those printed threads. Again, remember not to do it too tight. And trying to get things to line up and not break. Sometimes I think Voron printers are for calm people. Building Voron printers is nice if you're sort of doing it in your own time, your own pace. Which is, doing it on stream is nothing stopping you from doing it at a different pace. But you're also trying to show people how to do it, not mess up what you're doing. Yeah, it can be tricky. So that should be that bit done. You're not over tighten yet. They're sort of just, yep. Next page. So then we do the other pulley. So we'll take the rub screws out. I need to get a sidekick like you do, Chris. But alas, I do not have one. Oops, a bit too much. You say you haven't been able to catch one of my streams before. I know, obviously, time zones is a bit of a pain, but I tend to stream at sort of 1 o'clock ish, half one time, my UK time, and that I purely do that so that I can then go and watch Steve build streams later in the evening. So it's kind of a selfish reason why I do it at that time. It's more relaxing watching someone stream than it is to do it yourself. So we get our other motor. And then this time we want the fat bit facing up. So undo that slightly. And again we get our little printed jig. And then this time obviously we're doing the B motor. Moved off the thing slightly. Out there. Oops. Just make sure it's in the right place. Yep. It has, strange thing for sure, it's always been hard to focus on the build and chat with people in chat. Sidekick really helps having gaps in the conversation. It took me 5 years to get a sidekick, so it works out. Works with that one too, yeah. But it's always fun coming to one of your streams, Chris. Getting to chat, and you seem to spend not most of it, but you seem to spend some of the live stream actually helping with other people's problems which are unrelated to the build, which is funny. But so let's make sure we get this one in the right place. So again, the output of the motor is going towards what will be the extrusion, and then we want some M330s again. That one. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to be at Smurf yet, but I think with the fact that Chris Riley is going to be there, Steve Builds is hopefully going to be there, I probably, and because it's in the UK, I should probably really make the effort to attend. I suspect potentially I'll just and Richard is obviously going to be there, hopefully, so I suspect it will be more of a I won't go for probably both days, probably just the one. Now that pulley is miles off. What happened there? Two others that you will want to be. Two others you want. Oh, okay. I get you. What's happened there? Don't think I've gone down far enough. So let's take those out. So basically, I've spotted a little bit of an issue that the pulley, focus, doesn't line up with the bearing stack. So I've obviously done something wrong somewhere. So I'm going to take this off, take these screws out for the motor and have a look. Maybe I didn't quite use the jig correctly. just want to jump in and say, hey, have a good stream, take care all. Thank you for coming along, Chris, and I'll catch you on your next stream, whatever that may be. So yeah, thanks for coming along, appreciate it. So let me so what I might have done, yeah, so I used the jig the wrong way. So if we go back up, I used the jig that way, and you can see it lines up, but what I should have done is used it that way. So that needs to come down. So I'm glad I spotted that. Well, I'm glad the manual asked me to check, that's what I should say. So it goes that way, and that goes in there. So check that again. It didn't help that this part over extruded a little bit on the bottom layer as well, or squished a bit too much, so let me, not happy with how that lines up, hold on. Okay, try that again. Yeah, so for Smurf, what I'll probably do is drive down for either the Saturday or the Sunday, and then stay in a hotel a little bit further out, sort of on the way back to where I live. So yeah, but we'll see. I should probably look into it if I'm going to be going. Okay, so that should now be better. Now I've got the jig the right way around, we can try that again. Make sure we put the motor towards the extrusion. Get our bolts out. There we go. We're not, again, not doing it too tight, and yeah, that lines up a lot better. And again, we don't want to do stuff like major tight here. This is just to sandwich things together, really. And they look okay to me, so that's another one done. And it wants us to check our work. Yeah, and that now does fall between the where it should do. Right. So gonna have a quick grab a quick drink from behind me. I'll just mute this for you so you don't have to hear me. Okay. So if these have now got to go on the frame, which I assume they do, is it worth me to end the stream here and try and get that frame a little bit more square, or just carry on going? So I've been going for about 2 hours, which is okay. I could keep going, or we could have a look at potentially just doing a few more preparation parts, and maybe talk about other things. You should ask Lou for one of their frame jigs. They're honestly amazing. Yeah, so I did sort of, when we were talking about getting the kit sent, I did say, oh, you know, it would be really cool if you could include one, but they didn't have any extras, I should say. What I should have probably done is waited and said, oh, send them when they're ready, sort of thing. But I'm not sure if that would help, because I probably should really look at the manual, but I assumed that if things are like level, then that should be where things go. Let me make a little bit of space and I'll move the frame back over. Now, what did I move out of? That's right, that can go down there. Put the tools over here. How long have I got left on this? This is at 85%. I think we should hopefully have enough filament. Right, let's move the printed parts out of the way. Although I really like this, it would be nicer if it was slightly bigger so that more things had their own hole, but I do like it. It's better than having loads of little bags. Although, because they're heavy, when you drop them, they tend to break, as I have found. Because I broke one. Right. Put that over there. Put these here. Need a bigger workshop. Let's unplug you, because I shouldn't need that for the time being. Everyone should go and check Vector 3D out for this as well, if you're interested in them. Because the version he's got at the moment, also you can also buy it with a soldering iron, which is has a display on for temperature control, which is really nice. Right. So what could be causing this to be like this? I'm wondering if those washers are actually having a negative effect. They're not doing what I imagined they should do. So I think it will probably be better if I rebuild the frame without those in. So I'll probably do that off stream. So let's just have a look and see if there's anything else we could do preparation wise, or even talk about. Yeah, so this is what, so I'm just paging through the manual here. This is like what I was talking about. This seems to go together a lot quicker than the 2.4 did, because there was a lot more involved with each Z drive. if I look here, it sort of looks as if yeah, I'm not sure if by me putting those washers in was a good idea. Don't think that are the washers. What I really ought to do is get myself like I mean, this worktop has always been fine for the other printers. I think I will redo the frame anyway, because I'm not sure if I should have put those washers in, really. So what else could we talk about? I said in the unboxing stream that BigTreeTech, so this is going to have an octopus in, and then the EBB 329. Keep us updated what it was. Yeah, so what I'll do is not only will I'll probably post on my like community tab. I'll probably have a look at this over the next couple of days, because I've got some laser cutting work to do and design stuff, so I'm going to be a little bit busy, but I will post in the community tab and then wherever else as well. But I just wanted to have a quick look at this. So I'm going to be having a octopus just the octopus, BigTreeTech cam board, and they said they would also send, so they were things I had already, but they were kind enough to send me a screen. So this is going to be the TFT 50 touchscreen, and I'm printing parts for it at the moment as well. So this connects to the Raspberry Pi via a little cable, although what I will probably do, hopefully, is if I've got one, is use a longer one, so that I don't have to mount the Pi to the back. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to having a nice touch screen with clipper screen on. Actually, I haven't used clipper screen in anger, so it'll be interesting to see how that works. What sort of quality of life that brings compared to, say, just the normal screens. So I'm looking forward to booting that up. I can tell you one thing, that as much as I do like BigTreeTech, and they are very good at doing competitions and giveaways and everything like that, I will not be having one of those little screens that go on the tool head. I'm sorry, but I just don't think, I just don't see the point in it. What's it called? I don't even know what it's called. Kanomi or whatever it is. Yeah, I saw someone put one on the front of a V0 bed, which looked interesting. Make it your only emergency stop. Yeah, very good. Like, I like the idea. So I haven't got it because I've had a big clear out, so I've moved a lot of stuff. But I made which machine are you putting on? So it'll be going on this Trident, Graham. So this is the mount that it will be using. So this will go on the front here, like that, and it's like a 45-degree mount. And then there's another piece which is currently printing, which will be in the main colour. So my skirts, what I've done is I've effectively done the corner skirts in the main colour, and then the fan holders, the rear skirt that goes in the middle, and then this will be at the front, I've done in the accent colour, just because I wanted like to make sure I had enough filament for finishing off the bits that I'm doing now. But yeah, this will be clipper screen on the Trident. Like I say, never used it before, so I'm interested to see how it will work. And if I ever put the Enraged Rabbit carrier feeder on here, so this will have the clipper screen, I believe there's some, you can add like custom menus to it and have different icons and stuff, so that would be interesting. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I might try, I have somewhere got a smallish piece of granite, but I can't remember what I did with it, so I might try and dig that out to make sure that they're done nicely. Another thing that I'm going to have to work out is how I'm going to do the umbilical cable. So because this is going to be using CAN, we won't have the X and Y chains, cable chains. I've printed the parts off from BigTreeTech that are specific to the CAN board, but I want to try and get a piece of like spring steel. Okay mate, thank you for coming along. Are you, some names I'm good with, some I'm not. Are you in the Fysetc Discord server? I'm not sure if you're gonna do a build log on there. It'd be interesting to see how yours comes out, what your PIF parts look like, etc. But if you're not, then I'll see you next week on the next stream. Thanks for coming along. Use a coat hanger. Yeah, could do. Yeah, like I say, I'm not really sure. Excellent. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, because the problem is with the Trident, obviously because the gantry's fixed, I'm not sure how. Yeah, I've sort of got to have to work it out as we go, and I'm not sure whether at the moment to get like a proper, I say a proper CAN cable, but another cable than the one that came with the tool headboard. I know Richard, you said on the last stream about potential power issues, so I asked in the BigTreeTech channel, and someone said that they run theirs absolutely fine. They've got the 2209. They had the 22, is it the 2240, like the other version, and that was the one that had problems. So they think I'll be okay with the cable I've got, so that's not necessarily an issue, but I'm just wondering how I'm going to make it look neat. And yeah, so I think, yes, I think the 2240 was a big issue. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it here, mainly because I want to revisit this frame in my own time. So Bigger Fish says, I use 3mm ID PTFE2, but I use mellow boards and cables. So you use the 3mm for your PTFE filament path, and then do you clip your cable to the PTFE? Is that what you mean? I think the kit did come with some 3mm ID, 4mm OD PTFE tube. Cables are inside the PTFE. Okay, that's interesting. That is interesting. Have you got, is there a picture of that anywhere in any Discord servers that I can have a look at, Bigger Fish? That would be interesting to see that. Also, I know, Richard, you put some of that nylon sleeving over yours, didn't you? That looks really nice. So I might have to look for an appropriate colour to see if I should do that with mine. Yeah, 3mm ID does sound... Yeah, certainly. Feel free to message me. And if it's okay with you, I can then post that somewhere else. If not, it's entirely up to you. Get a sample from Igus. I tell you what, I got a sample from Igus before and it was absolutely rubbish. I filled out all the sample form. I think I had to, I can't remember if I had to email someone as well, and they sent this tiny little box with like 4 printed samples in. Complete waste of time, waste of postage and everything. Like, I wanted a sample of filament that I could actually print something with, and it was absolutely rubbish. So I'm probably not going to try and get a sample from them. Gonna open Discord in case Bigger Fish is messaging me now. No, that's fine. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna call the stream here, and I'm gonna rebuild this off stream, but I won't do anything more. I do want everything to be on stream. I didn't get as much done as I would like, but I'd rather this is right and I sort of need to think about it and get my head around it and probably take these washes out. But I will try and do everything on stream, and that includes the firmware and software, which I'm not particularly looking forward to, mainly because firmware I like to sort of do a little bit in advance and have like on the table. And I like to sort of work my way through it. So to do it on stream, I'm gonna have to work out how I can share screens and everything. But yeah, I intend to do everything on stream, so you're not gonna miss anything. I'm just gonna rebuild the frame and try and get it so it's not like this, because I don't know if you can hear it, but it's not flat, and I don't know if it's the table or what. But yeah, if there's any final questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna end the stream here. I want to thank everyone for coming, because it is really nice to be able to do this and have people to talk to and show people, and that's really the only reason I do it, is just to interact with you lot. So I can't see any more questions coming in, so I think I'm going to end the stream. We'll try and do it. We'll do it for another minute, so we'll try and do it for 2 hours 40. So if you're watching this afterwards, there's nothing else coming. You can go. I don't know if there must be a bit of a delay, so by the time I go to end it, you might have all posted a question. Did anyone notice that we've got a black background around the outside of the thing today? I changed it from white to black. Right, that's it. Thank you for coming, everyone. Gonna end it here. Back next week. Hopefully we'll have fixed the frame, and then we'll get a lot done. So excellent. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you next time.